one thing that even time can't destroy. And that is the love of a Gursikh. There is one Gursikh in the middle of a jungle, in a village, inside of this fortress, in a small room in the back, laying down. He has more than 22 wounds on his body. He's been hurt in battle. He's laying in this room, and there's Mughal soldiers running around the rest of the house looking for this one Gursikh. They search upstairs, they search downstairs. They search around the house, they search the neighboring houses. Then they end up going to this one last room. And they're saying that we need to go and check inside. The owner of the house denies them going inside, saying that it's just my son-in-law that's inside of this house, inside of this room. He's sick. And this one pyara Gursikh that's laying in this room in the middle of this jungle, the only words on his lips are Harta, Karta, Tan Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sahib Sache Paatshah. The destroyer, the doer, Tan Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Sache Paatshah. This pyara Nahang Singh, who from a young age, under the guidance of his father, who later on becomes Shaheed, his uncle, who was boiled alive like this fire. The fire will destroy the body, but it'll never destroy the love of a Gursikh. His uncle is boiled alive in front of Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj Sache Paatshah. Him sitting in this house, in this jungle, now knows that his younger brothers have become Shaheed. His grandfathers have become Shaheed. This pyara Gursikh is still laying there, wounds all over his body, and saying, Tan Guru Gobind Singh Sache Paatshah. There's no pain in this world that will ever be able to take away that love. You know what Singhs used to say? When they used to fall in battle, they used to have tears of blood rolling down their face and the rest of their body. And when somebody would ask them, what do you want? Even Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah would go up to them. Imagine Guru Gobind Singh Ji going up to a Gursikh and saying, ask for whatever you want. The luxuries of life, liberation. Ask for anything that you want. And that pyara Gursikh, those pyare Gursikhs falling in the battle, what are they saying? They're not asking for anything. They're saying, Sache Paatshah, we can't ask for anything because you've already given us everything. Sache Paatshah says, you must ask. It's a hukum that you must ask. And those Gursikhs say, Sache Paatshah, we've experienced everything in life. We know what it feels like to be married. We know what it feels like to have money. We know what it feels like to enjoy company. Everything in this world, food, clothes, everything we've had, Maharaj, well, there's one thing that we've loved so much and we wish to ask for it again and again. Maharaj, we love the Shaheedi. Maharaj, we've died in this battle for you. Maharaj, please bless us that I can be born in the house of a Gursikh again. And while growing up, while living in the house of a Gursikh, Sache Paatshah, may I fight in battle for you and die again. And then when I become Shaheed again, May I be born as a Gursikh again, and may I become Shaheed again. And again, Sache Pacha, until the end of time, we don't want liberation. That's not what we want. We don't want anything. I don't know anything about Gyan. I don't know anything about experience. I don't know anything about blessings. But Sache Pacha, I know that dying for you is just the definition of pure bliss. With this same mentality, Pyareo, this one Gursikh is laying in this house. It says, last day, physically on this world, this Gursikh knows. The next day, he's going to leave his body because he's wounded so badly. How did this Pyara Gursikh get there? And how is he still remembering Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha's name on his tongue? The name of this Pyara Gursikh, Pyareo. We think somebody does a backflip and that's wondrous. We say, wow, this Gursikh's name is wondrous. This is the Sakhi of Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji. Before we begin, Pyareo, every Gursikh is born from the Fateh. You've heard me say this many, many times. You can very easily become fragile and be cracked by the small winds of Maya, the small winds of attachment. But Pyareo, Sache Pacha gave us sarblo, something that doesn't crack, bend, it's strong. If you end up saying weak things like veggie salsa, then you're going to crack like a nacho chip. If you go and ask, why is there a Khalsa, why is there a Fateh, then you're going to be living the rest of your life in doubt. Yes, Fateh is your identity. Don't go up to somebody and say veggie salsa. Don't become a nacho. But as loud as we can. Like the Fateh that Bhai Fateh Singh Ji from the Panj Mukte roared. Like the Fateh that Baba Fateh Singh Ji from the Chote Sahibzade roared. That same Fateh that Bhai Daya Singh Ji from the Panj Pyare roared in 1699. Let's roar that Fateh. And not only let your own ears hear that, not only your neighbors, not only your heart, but this Fateh has such an energy. If somebody lives their life according to this Fateh, Bhai Mani Singh Ji's son, Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji is living in this room. Bhai Mani Singh, I told you guys this last year, Bhai Mani Singh Ji, their father Shaheed. Their grandfather from the father's side is Shaheed. Their maternal grandfather is Shaheed. Their 11 brothers are Shaheed. They are Shaheed. Their 7 of 7 sons are Shaheed. Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji's son, Sargam Singh, and other Gursikhs down the lineage all become Shaheed. This Fateh has such a power, it'll not only go down into your roots, into the cells of your body, but it'll go down into the cells of each and every single one of your family members as well. The power of this Fateh. Sari Sangat Gaj Vaj ke Fateh bulao, koi bhi rasna vanji na rave. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji, growing up under their father, Bhai Mani Singh Ji, who from a young age, Bhai Mani Singh Ji came into the Sangat of Guru Hargobind Maharaj, did Seva of 4 Pathshahiyan. Bhai Bachittar Singh was not any other Gursikh, was not any other soldier in the army of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. If you look into the structure of an army, there is the regular soldiers, there is the officers, there is the elite, and above all, there are the most trained commandos. There is not many of them. Guru Gobind Singh Ji had 25 of these pyare Gursikh, which they were known as Mar Jivade. Guru Gobind Singh Ji would go and rest on their bed. They would be sleeping. But the Guru never sleeps. Don't fall under that interpretation. Guru Maharaj would be resting on their Sukhasana Sthan. These 25 Singhs would always be standing around Guru Gobind Singh Ji giving para. Guru Gobind Singh Ji would be eating their food. These 25 Singhs are standing beside them. Guru Gobind Singh Ji would be having discussions in their darbar. These 25 Singhs would be sitting all around the tabia of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha. The Panj Pyare are amongst them. The Panj Mukte are amongst them. Bhai Deva Singh Ji, Bhai Ram Singh Ji, Bhai Ishar Singh Ji, Bhai Tahal Singh Ji, Bhai Fateh Singh Ji. These are Panj Mukte. Panj Mukte are those that took Amrit immediately after the Panj Pyare. Panj Pyare took Amrit, the Panj Mukte took Amrit. Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji was personally trained by Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha. Every single one of these Gursikhs standing there around Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha was specially trained in a special skill. Somebody's favorite weapon was the gun. Somebody else's was the bow and arrow. Somebody else's was a tegga, or somebody else's was a goliya, somebody else's was a barcha. And the nishana, the accuracy of a barcha, of throwing a spear, this was the specialty of Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji. How does Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji go from learning from Guru Gobind Singh Ji, standing around them, doing their seva, to being away from Guru Gobind Singh Ji in the middle of a jungle and saying, Harta, Karta, Tan Tan Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Wounded in battle. I want you to take your consciousness to the time of Anandpur Sahib. Anandpur Sahib, when the Pahadi Raje came around and they circled Anandpur Sahib out of Irkha for Guru Gobind Singh Ji's flourishing Panth. There's a battle taking place. Bhai Uday Singh Ji, who is the younger brother of Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji. Bhai Bachittar Singh, the elder brother, Bhai Uday Singh, the younger brother. Along with Bhai Alam Singh Ji, who was the Gadwai Singh of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Gadwai meaning the personal assistant of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Bhai Uday Singh Ji, Bhai Alam Singh Ji and Bhai Daya Singh Ji from the Panj Pyare are standing at the top of Anandpur Sahib, Kesgarh Sahib, and they're looking out. And they see that the Pahadi Raje, they have made a circle and there's small gunshots going on. Here and there, every little moment. Not too much at the moment. The Singhs are shooting back from a distance. The Pahadi are shooting back. The night continues on and eventually the Pahadi Raje stop shooting. And at this very moment, Bhai Uday Singh Ji turns to Bhai Alam Singh Ji. Bhai Alam Singh Ji, now is their opportunity. The Pahadiye have gone to sleep. Now is our opportunity, even though it's nighttime. Let's go and ekdam halla bol diya. Let's go and attack all at once. Bhai Alam Singh Ji says that your words are true. If we attack now, the Pahadiye won't even know that who attacked them and who didn't. And as these conversations are taking place, Bhai Daya Singh Ji, I remember when the Sangat used to see Bhai Daya Singh Ji, Bhai Daya Singh Ji's word would be the same as Guru Gobind Singh Ji. If we heard Bhai Daya Singh Ji, history writes this, if we heard Bhai Daya Singh Ji speaking, you couldn't tell if it was Guru Gobind Singh Ji or Bhai Daya Singh Ji. Because their voices match so similar. Their actions, their smile, the look in their eyes. Pyareo, truly when somebody falls in love with the Guru, they become the form of the Guru. And Bhai Daya Singh Ji steps and they say, Gur Sikho, Mere Veero, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah has gone to the Sukhasana Sthan. They've gone to rest without the Agya. We cannot go outside of Maryada. We cannot go outside of the permissions of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Without the permission of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, we cannot initiate an attack. Bhai Alam Singh Ji, Bhai Uday Singh Ji, and many other Gursikhs, Bhai Himmat Singh Ji, Bhai Mohkam Singh Ji, Bhai Ani Ji, Bhai Seva Singh. They're all standing around and they look to Bhai Daya Singh Ji and they fold their hands and say, hey, Bhai Daya Singh Ji, you were the very first Gursikh that bowed down their head and became the form of the Guru, the form of the Panch Pyare. Bhai Daya Singh Ji, your word is the word of Guru Gobind Singh Ji for us. Guru Gobind Singh Ji works through the Gursikhs. If a Gursikh like you gives us a command, for us it's the equivalent of the Guru. When this entire Sangat is standing in front of Bhai Daya Singh Ji, Bhai Daya Singh Ji gives permission. And Pyaro, look at the difference between a politician and a leader. A politician says, you go do this, I'm not even going to show up. You go do this, I'll stand back and sit behind my seat. But a leader, he's standing and he's at the front lines. Bhai Daya Singh Ji gives Agya, but Bhai Daya Singh Ji is the first one getting onto their horse. Bhai Daya Singh Ji saddles up. Bhai Uday Singh Ji, Bhai Alam Singh Ji. All of these Gursikhs gather together, they get their horses ready, and they go and sneak up on the Pahadiye. As they walk through this moonless night, complete darkness, they're walking towards the enemy lines. The Pahadiye are sleeping. They have one or two guards standing there. A couple of Gursikhs go behind. And as these Gursikhs are moving in, all you hear from one side is Jakare and Karpana going, and from one side you hear the Pahadiya, they say, Kaun aa gaya, Pajjo, Pajjo, Khalsa ne halla bolta. They're saying, Khalsa has come, run for your life, save your life. And on one side, Bhai Uday Singh Ji and the rest of the Fauja are going in with full force, slicing Pahadiye bodies. Before the Pahadiye are able to pick up their shastras and come forward, the Khalsa is standing, looking at them, just like a black cobra looks into its prey. This great battle took place. And when all of these Pahadiye got wiped out, they went back and they went crying to Bhim Chand and the other Pahadi Raje. Bhim Chand, Poop Chand, Kesari Chand, they're all sitting together and they're saying, what is going on? They start moving back and the Khalsa is going forward. Jakare are going, shots are being fired. And in this entire battle, there wasn't a single Singh that became Shaheed. Not a single wound. They pushed the enemy lines back. And when they returned, as they returned that night, while they were riding back into Anandpur Sahib with this glorious victory, the sun had started coming up and Guru Gobind Singh Ji had started doing their Ishnan. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah sits down and listens to Asa Ki War, and as the entire Sangat is sitting there, Bhai Daya Singh Ji go up to, hey Sache Paatshah, Maharaj, with your blessings, we've been able to take care of this morcha last night. Upon hearing this, Guru Gobind Singh Ji is happy, is pleased with the Khalsa, saying that the Khalsa was able to see the Guru inside of one Gursikh. This is how much pyar you have. You initiate a thing, an objective. You take the Guru's blessings. You look upon the Gursikhs as guidance. And you complete the Guru's mission. This is what it means. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Guru Gobind Singh Ji is pleased. Everybody is sitting down and they're celebrating by singing these lines. Vadde kiyan vadiyaiyan, kich kehna kehna na jaye. So karta ka dard kareem. De jiyan rizq sambhaye. They're completing Asa Ki War. And they're singing in bliss. And on this side, we have Kesari Chand, Poop Chand, Bhim Chand, and other Pahadi Rajiye getting together. They're having a meeting. And what it was, the Pahadiye, that when they used to get together and it would be time for eat, they would take off their armor. After removing their armor, they go into the kitchen, they go into the rasoi, they sit down. They're wearing just pieces of cloth. They're wearing loin cloths. They sit down. Their servants bring them food to eat on leaf plates. And as they begin to eat, now Bhim Chand, he decides to poke at Kesari Chand. Pokes at Kesari Chand, and he's saying that before you eat this chawl, before you eat this rice, is this all you've come here to do? Have you just come here to empty out my kitchen, empty out my food pantry? Or have you actually come here to fight? They say, oh Kesari Chand, you haven't done anything. We've been here for months. The Khalsa breaks our lines. They deliver supply in and out. Your Fajr aren't able to do anything. All you've come here to eat is food. Kesari Chand, full of ego, because, Pyareo, when you know somebody is full of ego, they're about to get angry, you poke at them, that's when they start erupting. Bhim Chand knew Kesari Chand was full of anger and ankar. He poked a little stick at him. After poking a little stick at him, Kesari Chand became full of anger, full of ego. And this Murak, this Bemuk, he stands up and he says that tomorrow I will attack Logar, this Logar Killa that we've been trying to attack for months and months with absolutely no success. If you put me in charge, I'll take it over tomorrow. Tomorrow I will bring the head of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, this Murak says. He says, I have a must hathi. Must is a natural cycle of an elephant. Through its hormonal process, it becomes pagal, it goes insane. It becomes must through its cycle. And on top of that, when it's already pushing its owner aside and waving its legs and trunk around, killing people, it doesn't even see its own children anymore when it becomes so must. On top of that, feeding it alcohol. This Murak Kesari Chand says that I will take this hathi, I will attack Logad. And if I don't attack Logad, then I won't come back until I do. Kesari Chand walks out of the rasoi. He goes and gathers his soldiers, preparing for this attack the next day. That night, Sipahis of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, spies of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, they came and they told Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Sache Pacha, they're planning a great attack with a sharabi mast hathi. Sache Pacha, this is no joke. That hathi, its eyes are red, its tusks are sharp, it's the size of a mountain. Anything that comes into its way, it stomps on and destroys, it crushes. Hey Sache Pacha, do some kirpa. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, as they're hearing this, they laugh. Guru Gobind Singh Ji laughs. Everybody in the room is confused. Sache Pacha, they're planning an attack. They're going to destroy Logar the Killa. Guru Gobind Singh Ji is saying, Je ona kol ek hathi hai na, sadde kol bhi ek hathi hai. Everyone says, who is this hathi? And Guru Gobind Singh Ji, sadda pyara Duni Chand. And when the word got to Duni Chand pyareo was a masand. Duni Chand had been stealing from the Guru. Any play that Guru Sahib does, even though we might think, oh no, something is going downhill, it's not working out for us. Maharaj knows exactly what they're doing. At the end, the truth always prevails. He had been stealing from the Guru's golak, these masands. Duni Chand and his family, his ancestors, they've been eating from the house of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. He had been eating and eating and eating, and he'd become so fat. His legs were the size of tree trunks. His face looked like a dirty moon. His stomach couldn't be measured. His arms are waving around like elephant trunks. And when Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, laughingly he says, we'll send our elephant, word gets to Duni Chand. Duni Chand, he's hearing that Sache Pacha is telling me to go out and fight this elephant head on. How is this to be? So first, Duni Chand, he's thinking. He's not able to sleep that night. He's saying, what's going to happen in the morning? He's sleeping, he turns to one side, turns to the other side. His face starts going pale. His lips start stuttering. His nails turn blue. He's not able to focus. When he couldn't sleep, he gets up, and the first thing he does is he goes to Bhai Daya Singh Ji. And he goes to Bhai Daya Singh Ji and says, hey Sache Pacha, hey pyare Bhai Daya Singh Ji, let's talk about something. Let's talk about a better solution. Pyare, sometimes when the Gurus gives a hukum, we don't like it. And we try to justify other ways to do stuff. We say, oh yeah, but like, it's open to interpretation and we can kind of do this and it's not really what Guru Sahib says. Nahin pyareo, we all know when we're doing what we're doing, whether your neighbor knows it or not. Duni Chand is going to Bhai Daya Singh Ji and saying, Pyare Bhai Daya Singh Ji, let's talk about this. You are the most beloved of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Why don't we go talk to Guru Gobind Singh Ji? Let's talk him out of the Sassai. There's a better solution. Why don't we just give up Logar? It's okay, we have other kile. Why don't we do something else? And Pyare Bhai Daya Singh Ji recognized that Guru Kar da kha ke phet gaya. That he is now doubting Guru Gobind Singh Ji. He's starting to turn his head away from Guru Gobind Singh Ji. His entire life he's been eating from Guru Gobind Singh Ji, living and enjoying the luxuries, having Seva that is do his Seva. By eating and eating, he's become so fat. A Mahampurkh I spent time with, Baba Jaswant Singh Bhagat Ji. He always used to say this, what kind of Khalsa is this? He used to go up to Gursikhs and say, Akiya. What is this? That's not what a Khalsa is. They say, when we enroll in the Khalsa army, what they should do is whoever starts eating and growing and becoming unfit out of their own laziness and starts turning their face away from Guru Sahib. Nobody's condemning and saying that, oh, judge people on the size of their weight. No, pyareo, never take it wrong. Look at yourself, look internal. Saying, for my own comforts, for my own eating, for my own pleasures, do I turn my face away from the Guru? For the taste of my own tongue? And Mahampurkha ne kiya that whoever grows such a habit, pick them up and take them out. They don't belong in this army. Chakke unhanu nu bahar sitto. And here, Duni Chand is freaking out. Bhai Daya Singh Ji recognizes, after not being able to work anything out with Bhai Daya Singh Ji, they go to the next Panj Pyara. They go say, hey pyare Bhai Dharm Singh Ji, I want to talk to you about something. When Bhai Dharm Singh Ji doesn't agree, They go to Bhai Harman Singh Ji, then they go to Bhai Mokam Singh Ji, then they go to Bhai Sahib Singh Ji. After that, they go to the Panj Mukte. They go to Bhai Seva Singh Ji, Bhai Ishar Singh Ji, Bhai Ram Singh Ji, Bhai Tehal Singh Ji, Bhai Fateh Singh Ji. After going to these Gursikhs, then they go to the grandson of Baba Buddha Ji, Baba Ram Koyar Ji, Baba Gurbakh Singh. They go to Baba Ram Koyar Ji and they're saying, oh Baba Ji, Guru Sahib is not really doing things properly anymore. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Sikhi was different. How many times have you heard this? This is not what Sikhi was. That just getting your own soldiers killed for no reason. Guru Gobind Singh Ji doesn't care about life anymore. This Murak is doing Nindya of the Guru. And Duni Chand says to Baba Ram Koyar Ji, they say, Baba Ji, you have the ability. Whoever you bow down to, whoever your family bows down to, they become the next Guru. Why don't you come with me? Let's go to Amritsar Sahib. Let's go make Tirmal the next Guru. He's saying, Baba Ram Koyar Ji, you are the grandson of Baba Buddha Ji. Whoever Baba Buddha Ji bowed down to, he placed a coconut. He put a tilak. He placed 5 gold coins, and that person will become the next Guru. The succession ceremony. You have the capability. Let's get out of here. Let's save our lives and let's go and make Tirmal the Guru. But Pyareo, sometimes, let's look at ourselves. We're trying to struggle for ourselves, but we bring other people into it. We never say that, oh, I'm scared for my life. I'm scared because of myself. No, we bring other people into it. How? Just like Duni Chand is saying, oh, well, I can't let my other Gursikhs just die for no reason. Oh, well, other people are going, other Gursikhs, they're having this concern. Nobody else had this concern. It was only Duni Chand that was going to go and fight in the elephant, fight in the battlefield. Duni Chand is scared. Baba Ram Koyar Ji turns to him and they say, oh Duni Chanda, tu Guru da kha ke phet gaya o murkha, o bemukha. Your dadi has turned white, but you've not gained any understanding. What is the point? Your entire dadi has become white. You've wasted your entire life away, but your white dadi does not represent wisdom. Your white dadi does not represent experience, devotion. No. Your white dadi is only white because all you see is death and you've lost life now. There's no color left in you. Duni Chand tries everybody else. They go into the Sangata and they start saying that we need to go, we need to go. He goes back to his room. He couldn't sleep at night. He turns left, right and center, walking all around, and he makes a decision that I need to get out of here to save my own life. Duni Chand, he convinces a couple of his own soldiers. They gather together and they make a plan. They get up and they look and they say, what side of Anandpur Sahib has the least amount of soldiers? This one side had only 1 or 2 soldiers and they were facing the other way. So what Duni Chand, he goes, he takes a rope and he ties it around his fat stomach. His legs are like tree trunks. His arms are like the trunk of elephants. His face is like a dirty moon. He's going. And when he ties the rope to the top of the wall, 1 soldier goes down, 2 soldiers goes down. As soldiers are going down, it's Duni Chand's time to go down now. And when he's climbing down this wall, with the rope tied around his body, the rope snaps. With so much of his weight, par. Sometimes it's not the weight of the body, Pyareo, it's the weight of our own sins. It's the weight of our own lies. It's the weight of our own irka and anger and these vices that we hold inside of ourselves. Duni Chand falls to the ground. He lands on his leg and he breaks his leg. When Duni Chand breaks his leg, he was not able to make any sound. Because if he started screaming, everybody in Anandpur Sahib would find out that Duni Chand is trying to run away, that he's become a coward. So he's sitting there, like Family Guy going, not able to make a sound. And what he tells his soldiers, they put him on a manja. They pick him up and they start walking, and he's holding on to his leg, it's broken leg. He's crying out in pain, he's saying, "Hi, hi," but he's not able to scream out loud. And when they get far enough, he's saying, "Hi, hi, meri lat, meri lat." And he starts screaming out loud in pain when they're earshots away from Anandapur Sahib where they can't hear him anymore. Better we reading Gurbani, Papi, karm kamavde, karde, hi, hi. Papi karm kamavde, karde, hi, hi. They scream out in pain, saying, "Hi, hi, meri lat dukh diya, meri lat dukh diya," with the weight of their own sins. Duni Chand is carried across. And when they arrive at Amritsar Sahib in Malwa, where Duni Chand was from, they take him, but he realizes, how am I going to show my face to my family? How am I going to show my face to the rest of the city? I've run away from the Guru. So what he says is, make sure nobody comes and meets me. I'm very old now. I've become injured, so keep me in the back room where nobody else goes. The room that nobody uses, the storage room. Put me in that room and make sure nobody comes to talk to me. He's trying to put it off and saying, "Oh, our grandfather is very old now, so nobody can go talk to him." No, but it's not his bujurgi. It's his embarrassment. It's his sharmindagi. He can't face the Guru's Sangat. So he's in this room. Time goes by. He's lost. He's not able to figure out, but pyareo, we can never, nobody has ever in this entire universe ever been able to run from death. When death is to come, death is to come. Duni Chand had the opportunity to die for the Guru and be liberated, experience eternal bliss and be forgiven of everything that he's possibly done. But no, pyareo, based on his own doing, he's turned his face from the Guru, and now he's sitting in this room. During the day he was not able to go out, so in the middle of the night he decides to get up. And when he puts his foot down, there at the bottom of his bed was a black cobra. When he puts his foot down, it lands on the black cobra's tail. That black cobra bites into his foot. Duni Chand, screaming in pain, dies on the spot. His grandsons, Anup and Sarup, they come, they try to save him. They try to take him, bring a medic. But there was no use. When death comes, death comes. Duni Chand was trying to save himself. Anup and Sarup were trying to save him, but little do they realize that this cobra was death sent by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Nobody can escape. After Duni Chand passes, Anup and Sarup realize that the mistakes that our grandfather have done, we don't want our family to have this bad label, to have this kalank on us. So they get together and say that we're going to go to Anandapur Sahib and ask for forgiveness. Ask for the blessings of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah. They gather themselves. They go towards Anandapur Sahib. Along the way, they find out that all of the other Malwais, all of the other Masans that left with Duni Chand, when they arrived home as well, didn't find any peace. What they wanted was a manja to sleep on. What they wanted was food to eat. They tried running away from Guru Gobind Singh Ji to find comfort, but all they found was slaps in the face. Nobody in their family allowed them back into the house, saying that you turned your face from Guru Gobind Singh Ji and you come back to the land of Guru Ramdas Ji Maharaj. How dare you turn your face this way? Whichever way you came, turn back that way and never come back again. Their own family says to them. They repent what they've done, so they join Anup and Sarup and they travel to Anandapur Sahib. And as all of this is happening, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, it's morning time now. Guru Gobind Singh Ji wakes up, does their snan, everybody is sitting and again singing Asa ki var vadde kiyan vadiyaiyan kis kehna kehna jaye so karta kar dar kareem de jiyan rijik sambhai sai kar kamavani. पर छोड़ी ते ना पाए नानक एक ही बाहरी और दूजी ना ही जाए सो करे जिते सर जाए. Whatever he wills, that's what's going to happen. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji looks in the Sangat and they say, Malwa de Sikha ch ghat lagde. The Sikhs from Malwa, which is the area around Amritsar, they're saying the Gursikhs, the Sangat from there seems less today. And then Baba Ram Koyar Ji, Bhai Daya Singh Ji say, Duni Chand came to us last night. They narrate the entire story. And they say, Duni Chand bhaj gaya. O Guru to bemukh ho ke muh mod gaya sache Paatshah. And outside, in the battlefield, everybody begins to hear the trumpeting of this Sharabi, Mast Hathi, who's screaming, is throwing everything aside. And what Kesari Chand has planned is that all the soldiers will go behind this elephant. Some will be on the right side, they'll keep poking him to the right. Some will be on the left side, they'll keep poking him to the left. Those in the back will keep poking him forward. Just so that Shrabi Hathi can't go one way or the other. The entire army will be behind and this elephant will be in front and they're going to attack Lohgarh. And they're coming to attack Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Guru Gobind Singh Ji laughs again. They say, Acha, if they're sending their elephant, then we'll send our Babbar Sher. If they're sending an elephant, we're going to send our lion, which will tear apart that elephant, rip it into two pieces, just like Ram destroyed Ravan, just like Krishna grabbed the case of Kans and destroyed him, just like Nar Singh came and ripped Harnakish apart. Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, our Babbar Sher will go and it will rip apart this elephant, this dusht. The elephant is trumpeting, but none of these Gursikhs are scared. Why? Because Guru Sahib blessed us with Bani. These Gursikhs grew up reading Gagardang Gaji Mahagaj Gaje, Chagardang Nagardang Bagardang Baje. They grew up reading about Shastra, Khand Behandang, Khaldal Khandang, Ataran Mandang, Barbandang, Puch Dande Khandang, Tej Prachandang, Jote Mandang Pan Parbang, Suksanta Karnang, Durmat Darang, Kilbek Harnang, Asarnang. Jai Jai Jagagaran, Srishti Ubaran, Mam Prataparan, Jate Gang. They knew this victory was coming. They felt that this elephant did not scare them. They have been trained to experience these sounds of wars. They had already known these sounds deep within. Guru Gobind Singh Ji is smiling and they look around those 25 Singhs that are standing behind them. These 25 commandos who are personally trained, always with Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah. The closest. When Guru Gobind Singh Ji would sleep, they would be there. Guru Gobind Singh Ji is eating, they would be there. Always around Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Wherever Guru Gobind Singh Ji went, there was 25. The best of the best warriors. Guru Gobind Singh Ji looks at one and he sees his muscles. He sees his muchan curled up. But pyareo, these muchan which we turn it into such an insult nowadays. What was a curled much meaning? It meant that there was so much energy that Guru Gobind Singh Ji himself was inside this Gursikh, that the energy, the hair was standing up and the mustache would automatically twirl. There would be so much birras, their eyes would be flashing with lightning. Their hair would be standing. They look at this Gursikh beside Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah. They see his mustache twirled, his eyes glowing. Every Gursikh is standing saying, Sache Paatshah, send us. Give us this opportunity. Guru Gobind Singh Ji looks at the next one. He's even stronger. He looks even more fierce. They look at the next one. He's even more stronger and more fierce. There's more lightning in his eyes. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji, they're looking at the next and the next. The next one is better, stronger than the next. And standing amongst them, they saw this one beautiful Gursikh. Handsome. His muscles are bulging out. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji looks at him and calls him by his nickname. They say, oh Behrupiya. Behrupiya meaning the one with many forms, the colorful one. Pyareo, these people were human. Don't think that they're just paintings in a Gurdwara Langar hall. You heard this Sakhi many, many times. Bhai Bachittar Singh's nickname was Behrupiya. Guru Gobind Singh Ji used to call him with love. Guru Gobind Singh Ji used to look upon Bhai Bachittar Singh, and Bhai Bachittar Singh used to wear a different color chola every day. Sometimes they wear a white one, sometimes they wear a blue one, sometimes they wear a beige one, sometimes they wear a yellow one, sometimes they wear an orange one. They're wearing many, many different colors. And because they had so many forms, Baho Rang Roop, Sache Pacha started calling them, oh Behrupiya, the colorful one. Look how much pyar these Gursikhs must have with Sache Pacha. To have Guru Gobind Singh Ji refer to them with a nickname. We read in Bani, Kabir mohe marne ka chaw hai, maro to har ke dwar, mate puche kaun hai, para hamare bar. If I die for a Kalpurk, I only have one wish, Bhagat Kabir Ji says. What is that? That I don't want God to look outside and question, who is this? Ye kaun hai? No, Sache Pacha, I want you to know who I am. Have a relationship with me. And imagine that feeling when Guru Gobind Singh Ji is calling you, oh Behrupiya, Sanmukho, come in front. And what does Bhai Bachittar Singh do? They jump forward, they leap forward, and they bow down to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Sache Pacha. Guru Gobind Singh Ji calls from their own treasury, their own armory. They call for a specially made Nagini Barcha of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. They call for this massive spear, Pyareo. Many people will question, how is this possible that the spear is able to do this? I want you to go to Kesgarh Sahib today, and I want you to look with your own eyes. I want you to lay your eyes upon this barcha. You'll see the lightning, you'll feel the lightning. You'll experience it. This barcha, black barcha, with gold lining on the outside. Inside it was filled with diamond shavings and other special metals, that even if the barcha from the outside broke or bent, the barcha would become straight again. Such craftsmanship, worth millions upon millions. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, this diamond ruby studded barcha that they call upon, they bring it out. Guru Gobind Singh Ji weighs it. They put it in their left hand, they put it in their right hand, they're playing with it. They spin it around their head. And then they look at Bhai Bachittar Singh and they hand it. They bless Bhai Bachittar Singh with it, saying that, oh Behrupiya, take this barcha and put it through the head of that elephant. Bhai Bachittar Singh, as soon as he receives this gift of this barcha, he feels not only does the barcha come into his hand, but he feels that Guru Gobind Singh Ji themselves are sitting inside of him now. His mustache starts twirling even more. His muscles start bulging even more. He jumps around, he starts waving the barcha around, spinning it, jumping back. He's playing Pantare with his barcha. He quickly bows down, does 4 prakarmas around Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha, and he says, Sache Pacha, I have no power of my own. If you make me go do this, place your blessings upon my head and take this barcha, Sache Pacha, Tera tujhko somte kya lag hai mera, everything of mine is yours. What do I have possibly of my own? Nothing. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha blesses Bhai Bachittar Singh. Bhai Bachittar Singh goes as he's spinning. They go and they jump on their horse. And they saddle up and they get ready to go. On the outside, there is this massive elephant that's coming towards Holgarh. First they're coming to attack Holgarh, then they're coming towards Lohgarh. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha alongside Bhai Alam Singh Ji and Bhai Daya Singh Ji, they go stand on top of Dumalgarh, which is a higher takht, which is a higher fort. Guru Gobind Singh Ji is standing and they're watching upon this battle that's happening. This elephant is coming forward, they're pushing from one side, on the other side they're pushing. Swords are clashing with swords, gunshots are being fired. There's not a single second in between where gunshots aren't being fired. Lashkan te gam barchiyan suraj nadar na paaye. The spears and the swords are glistening in the sky in such a way that you can't even see the sun, that the swords are so bright. Such a sight of battle is taking place. You couldn't hear your own voice with so much of this battle taking place. And on one side, inside of Lohgarh, you have Bhai Bachittar Singh behind the closed doors of Holgarh, just like a lion waiting for the gates to open and for the lion to pounce on its prey. They're moving towards Holgarh. And the jathedars of this battle, Baba Sher Singh and Baba Nar Singh, they're fighting fiercely. They're giving instructions. Battle is taking place, and this elephant is moving closer and closer and closer. Each Singh is going. Some Singh is becoming Shaheed. Some Pahadiya is becoming Shaheed. Pahadiya are being cut in half. Barche are going, flying through the air. Spears are flying through the air. Arrows are flying through the air. And here Baba Nar Singh and Baba Sher Singh, they're fighting in Holgarh. And as this battle is taking place, Guru Gobind Singh Ji is smiling from the top, watching this wondrous game happening. When this elephant goes close, the soldiers, the Gursikh soldiers at Holgarh, they're forced to go inside. As soon as the elephant breaks through Holgarh, every Pahadi goes and takes over every single corner. Baba Nar Singh and Baba Sher Singh are forced to retreat back to Lohgarh. Two different forts that are just very close to each other if you go and look at Anandpur Sahib, the geography of it. And now this elephant has turned towards Lohgarh. It's moving forward by Bachittar Singh. They give an instruction that when the elephant comes close, open the door. Everybody else move towards the soldiers. Let me take care of the elephant. Elephant is screaming. Swords are glistening. Shots are being fired. Singhs are becoming Shaheed on one side. Pahadi are being scrambled into bits, torn into bits on one side. And when this elephant is screaming, and what they did with this elephant, they had put plates of metal all over its body. They had put 7 plates of shields and metal on its forehead and the rest of its body. Along the front of its nose, its trunk, they put a 7-foot long staff, which is like a double-edged sword, like a khanda. They had tied that to the front, made it so drunk, they're forcing it to one side and forcing it to go forward, but with poking it with spears from the back. And this elephant is moving its trunk back and forth. Anything that comes in its way, it's 7-foot long double-edged sword is just cutting through everything. It's cutting bodies apart. Anything that comes in its way, it's being destroyed. And when this elephant is coming closer and closer to Lohgarh, Baba Bachittar Singh, the doors open, Baba Bachittar Singh pounces out. The Guru Sikh pounce out, and as they're going forward with the blessings of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha, Baba Bachittar Singh's muscles are with full energy. Their eyes are full of lightning. The mustache is standing up like with electricity. But what's on their lips, Pyareo? With their lips, they're saying, Tan Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sahib. Tan Guru Gobind Singh Sahib. Tan Guru Gobind Singh Sahib. Vaheguru, Tan Guru Gobind Singh Sahib. As they keep on reciting the name of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha, they're flying into this battle with this elephant that's coming forward to them. Arrows of the Pahadi are being shot at by Bachittar Singh. By Bachittar Singh, as they're riding, they pick up that Nagani Barcha in one hand. They had such an accurate shot. Now, instead of sitting on the horse, they're standing on top of the horse. As the horse is galloping with full speed towards this elephant comes with a full swing of his staff. By Bachittar Singh dodge, and by Bachittar Singh jump into the air. This Nagani Barcha, they throw it straight, cutting through 7 plates of this elephant's forehead, going straight into the forehead, and just like a fountain of blood squirting out, that elephant cries out in pain and it drops down onto his knees. history writes that when this elephant fell on its knees, every soldier looked upon that elephant and it looked like the elephant was bowing down to Bhai Bachittar Singh. It looked like he was matha taking to Bhai Bachittar Singh. The elephant had cried and fallen down. There's a fountain of blood coming through its matha, through its forehead. Bhai Bachittar Singh grabs the spear, pushes it in and out a couple more times. More blood is gushing out. And what Bhai Bachittar Singh does, pulls the barcha out, rides to the back, and they poke the elephant. This elephant is not any elephant. It looked like a massive mountain rolling down towards you. It's like death rolling onto a city. This elephant swung around and now it's facing its own pahadi. It's facing the army that brought it. It's swinging its staff and is cutting piles and piles of Pahadiya bodies onto one side. More Pahadiya on one side. The hill Rajas. The soldiers that came from the mountains. Cutting them left, right and center. Bhai Bachittar Singh with a full gallop, pushing it from the back and controlling the elephant now. And this elephant is going, destroying every single army member of the Pahadi that's there. All the Singhs stand up. They stop fighting because there was no need to fight anymore. They're standing and they're watching this wondrous game that's happening. They're saying, we're fighting a battle, but now this elephant that they brought is killing their own army. What do we need to do anymore? And it's going and it's killing. It's stomping over the Pahadiya, stepping over them, crushing them. They're crying out in pain. Bhai Bachittar Singh is going. And then at the top, Baba Alam Singh. They turn to Guru Gobind Singh Ji while they're standing on the Malgad. They say, Sache Pacha, the elephant's been taken care of, but who's going to take care of that Dusht Kesari Chand? And Guru Gobind Singh Ji, feeling around, Antarjam, he knows what's going on in everybody's mind. Right beside them was standing the younger brother of Bhai Bachittar Singh, Bhai Uday Singh. Bhai Uday Singh is standing there, waiting, Sache Pacha, ask me. In their mind, they say, Sache Pacha, bless me now. Thinking in their mind, Sache Pacha turns to Bhai Uday Singh and say, Bhai Uday Singh, why don't we let you go? Why don't we release you? Why don't we release our second Babbar Sher, our second lion? Bhai Uday Singh jumps up. Guru Gobind Singh Ji calls from their armory. They call for their Karpa Barcha. A big black spear. It's the same spear that they used in Tribeni to bring out a fountain which they hit on the ground. The same Karpa Barcha they give to Bhai Uday Singh. They're saying, with this spear, I want you to bring back the head of Kesari Chand. And from their own Kamar Kassa, Guru Gobind Singh Ji takes out their Tega. When Guru Gobind Singh Ji take out their Tega is a big heavy sword. They hand their own Tega into the hands of Bhai Uday Singh. And they say, with this Tega, slice the head with one blow of Kesari Chand. And with this other Barcha, pick it up and bring the head back to me. Guru Gobind Singh Ji orders for their own horse to be readied. They put Bhai Uday Singh on their own horse. They put their own Tega in their hands. They put their own Barcha in their hands. And when the Sangat that was looking at Bhai Uday Singh, they said that we didn't even see Bhai Uday Singh anymore. It just looked like Guru Gobind Singh Ji was standing there. It looked like Guru Gobind Singh Ji themselves were about to ride into battle. Pyar of a Gursikh. As Bhai Uday Singh rides out into battle, he says to the others that you guys take the left flank, you take the right flank, I'm going straight for Kesari Chand. He puts his aim on Kesari Chand, rides out for Kesari Chand, is shocked. What's going on? Bhim Chand was also there at the back watching this entire game happening. Kesari Chand and Bhim Chand were brothers-in-law. The wife of Bhim Chand was the sister of Kesari Chand. Kesari Chand, this Murak, is standing in battle, not knowing what's going on. The entire army of his is being destroyed, but he thinks that he can take his cavalry, he can take his horsemen and still attack Lohgarh. He thinks he can still attack and beat Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So he's making plans with his horsemen, riding forward still, not knowing that he's walking into his own death. And on this side, you have Bhai Uday Singh running, galloping forward straight to Kesari Chand. Bhai Uday Singh told Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha that, hey Maharaj, if I have your blessings, if you bless me, you work through me, then Sache Pacha, if Kesari Chand even tries to run from this battle, he can run all he wants. He can run back home. I will chase him to his house. He can run all the way back to Delhi. He can run to Aurangzeb. I will chase him all the way there. Even if he runs all the way to hell, I will chase him back to hell and back. I will come back with his head as long as I have your blessings, Sache Pacha. Even if I have to go through many, many different worlds and take him all the way to death, take him all the way to hell, chop his head off, I will bring his head back from hell. Bhai Uday Singh is running straight. There's more soldiers in the way, and with they're just slicing with one blow. They're just slicing just like a lawnmower might be, or a machete might be cutting through bushes. They're just cutting through all of these pahadiye, focused on Kesari Chand. Kesari Chand sees him coming. Kesari Chand takes out his arrows. He was great with the arrow. He knew how to shoot. He pulls his arrow back and he lets one go, going straight towards Bhai Uday Singh. And when we have the blessings of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, jiska sahib dadda hoye tisno marna sake koi. Nobody can kill them. The arrow drops low and it hits the saddle of the horse of Guru Gobind Singh Ji that Bhai Uday Singh Ji was riding. Bhai Uday Singh Ji go, and with one quick prounce, the speed of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's horse, they pull out their tega, and with one blow, the head of Kesari Chand is on the bottom. And when Kesari Chand's body fell, Kesari Chand was in the middle of trying to grab an arrow. His body was in this position. His head is on one ground, and the rest of the body of Kesari Chand is on the other ground. And when they hear this, the Singhs start doing jakare. The Pahadi are shocked. And what does Bhai Uday Singh Ji do? They remember the bachan of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. They grab the karpa bacha. They scoop up the head of Kesari Chand. They put it into the air, and the victory. They're riding all the way back to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, with Guru Gobind Singh Ji smiling from the top of the Malgar, looking at them. As they ride back, the party don't know what's going. Bhim Chand is standing there thinking that, what do I do now? Because if I go home, not only will my army kill me, not only will my kingdom question me, but my wife is going to kill me now. My wife is going to question, oh, you just got my brother killed. You couldn't take over Guru Gobind Singh Ji. You were there for months. What good have you done? Bhim Chand retreats. They go back, and they end up going back down towards Delhi. They team up with Aurangzeb and they return back later on. But here, Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji, Bhai Uday Singh Ji return. They receive the blessings of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha. Guru Gobind Singh Ji embraces both of them. Embraces them and blesses them in such a way, pyareo, later on in their life, there's even today, if you go, you can find a hukamnama handwritten by Guru Gobind Singh Ji, pyareo. Handwritten by Guru Gobind Singh Ji, saying that these two sons, Bhai Bachittar Singh and Bhai Uday Singh, the sons of Bhai Mani Singh, they are my sons. I protect them. All of their money, all of my money, there's no difference. All of my food is their food. No matter what happens, in any lifetime, in any world that they go to, I will be standing on top of them. They'll have the label of being my sons. With these blessings, Bhai Uday Singh, Bhai Bachittar Singh, they return. Bhim Chand travels back. He returns with 10 lakh di Fauj. When he returns with 10 lakh di Fauj, with many other things happening on in between, cutting a long story short, pyareo, they come, and this is what we know as the Kera around Anandpur Sahib, when Guru Gobind Singh Ji was forced to retreat. With the Pahadi Raje teamed up with the Aurangzeb, they came with 10 lakh da Kera. When they left Anandpur Sahib, Baba Ajit Singh, Baba Jujar Singh, Baba Zorawar Singh, Baba Fateh Singh, they're all traveling. We know all this Sakhi Pyareo, but when they get to Sarsa Nadi, there they split up. On one side you have the Chote Sahibzade crossing over the river. They're going one way. You have Guru Gobind Singh Ji and Singhs crossing over to one side. What Guru Gobind Singh Ji orders is he orders Bhai Jeevan Singh. Keep in mind, Pyareo, Bhai Jeevan Singh is Bhai Jetta Ji. After Bhai Jetta Ji took Amrit, this is the same Bhai Jetta Ji that went and brought back the head of Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj from Delhi. The same Bhai Jetta Ji in 1699 took Amrit and his name became Bhai Jeevan Singh. He became a general in this army. And he was ordered by Guru Gobind Singh Ji to stand at the edge of Sarsa Nadi with 50 men, 50 Gursikhs, and hold the ground so the rest of the Sangat could pass. Bhai Jetta Ji or Bhai Jeevan Singh Ji is standing there. And as they're fighting, Bhai Jeevan Singh becomes Shaheed. On the other side of the same Sarsa Nadi, just up the road, Bhai Uday Singh was ordered. And when Guru Gobind Singh Ji, imagine Guru Gobind Singh Ji is walking past into the river. Bhai Uday Singh is standing there. They look out and they're looking. And Bhai Uday Singh Ji looks towards Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Sache Pacha, what do I do? Guru Gobind Singh Ji looks at him and they say, Bhai Uday Singh Ji, fight here and give Shahidi here. Imagine the Guru telling you that now it's your time to give Shahidi. Not just you happen to give Shahidi. You know you're about to give Shahidi now. Bhai Uday Singh is full of happiness. They turn around and they hold at the edge of the Sarsa Nadi. They're holding the ground with the Sangat passing through the river. They're the very last person standing. The very last Shaheed at the battle of Sarsa Nadi. Everybody else is Shaheed. There's a full army of Pahadi and Mughals. And they have all their spears and arrows pointed towards Bhai Uday Singh. Bhai Uday Singh jumps into this battle, puts out their chest, and arrows and spears pierce through their body. There wasn't a single inch on their body that wasn't pierced with something. Bhai Uday Singh gave Shahidi there, full of happiness. Not a single hit came from the back, it was all on the front. Full of happiness, they accepted that. In a different battle, Bhai Bachittar Singh was ordered. Bhai Bachittar Singh goes forward and he's fighting in a different battle along the Sarsa Nadi. Once they've passed, Mughals come from the other side of Malerkotla. They come and they attack. And in this battle, Bhai Bachittar Singh got badly wounded. 22 scars, wounds all over his body, and some were very, very major. Bhai Bachittar Singh is on the ground and they left him to be dead. After a while, Baba Ajit Singh Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha, and Bhai Himmat Singh Ji, and Bhai Alam Singh Ji, they are walking through this battle of all these dead bodies of these Gursikhs, and on the ground what do they see? They see the body of Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji. He's still shaking a bit. There's still breath in his body. Baba Alam Singh Ji and Baba Daya Singh Ji, they pick up Bachittar Singh Ji. They say he's still alive. Alongside there was another Gursikh whose name was Baba Zorawar Singh Ji. This is not the son of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. This is an adopted son of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Baba Zorawar Singh. He is picked up. He's taken as well. Bhai Bachittar Singh is taken as well because Guru Gobind Singh Ji had to travel forward towards Chamkaur di Gadi. Here Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji is taken and they go to a nearby village who had a lot of prem, had a lot of love with Guru Gobind Singh Ji. This was the village of Nahang Khan. Nahang Khan, a great devotee of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. In this village, he had a fortress. And in this fortress, he had a room. In this room was laying Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji, laying on this bed, about to breathe his last breath. On his tongue are the words, Harta Karta Tan Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha. Somebody rats out that there's Gursikhs living in Nahang Khan's house. He's in the middle of this jungle. Not knowing, crying out to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Sache Paatshah, where are you? I know you're always with me, Sache Paatshah. I found you even in the midst of this dark, scary jungle. Ban pi havale, ek sathi ladum. I found this one true friend of mine. And here, Bhai Bachittar Singh is laying down. Nahang Khan's daughter, Mumtaz, is inside trying to treat the wounds of Bhai Bachittar Singh. He is getting better. The soldiers come, they search around the entire house. After searching the entire house, they end up coming to this one room and saying, let us search this room. Nahang Khan turns and he says, you cannot go into that room because inside of that room are my daughter and my son-in-law. So they don't go into that room. But Mumtaz hears. She hears that her father has given my hand to this Gursikh. As soon as she hears, she's laying. Bhai Bachittar Singh is laying on the bed. She's sitting there with her hands at the foot side of Bhai Bachittar Singh. She drops her head. Her feet touch the feet. Her head touch the feet of Bhai Bachittar Singh. She feels such an electricity go through her body. She bows down. She says, I accept this great person as my husband, Lord. Pati Parmeshwar. When the family found out this happened, they all told, because she was already engaged to somebody else. But that person was a sinner. That person was a wealthy sinner. And she said, I'm not going to be. I'm only married to my true love God. And I see my God through this, Bhai Bachittar Singh. Mumtaz, taking care of Bhai Bachittar Singh. But little does she know, that very next morning, Bhai Bachittar Singh closes his eyes, says his last words, Tan Tan Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah, and becomes one with the charan of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. They breathe their last breath in the house of Nahang Khan. But Pyareo, look at Mumtaz. One Gursikh inspires another Gursikh. That Gursikh inspires another Gursikh. It's a domino effect of love. A sandalwood tree that's spreading its fragrance all across the world. A fire that's spreading its heat and warming up everybody that's in need of this warmth. That Mumtaz, she started waking up every morning at Amrit Vela. She would sit with a mala in her hand, doing Simran for hours and hours, read Asa Ki War, read more and more Gurbani. She would go and do Seva of Gursikhs. She would sit beside where the funeral pyre used to be of Bhai Bachittar Singh every single day and remember her God. Remember how she once met such a Gursikh, Balbal Jai Sant Pyare. How she met this one Gursikh who completely changed her life as soon as she had bowed down to this Gursikh. With such love, with such nimarta. Bibi Mumtaz lived till 131 years old. She lived until 1810, the year 1810. She herself passed on many, many stories of Bhai Bachittar Singh, of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Paatshah to the Khalsa Panth. And today someone questions, we don't believe in history? That it's not authentic? Pyareo, this history is life. This history is now. This history is this present moment. This fire is boiling. This fire should be boiling inside of every single one of us. The fateh we say every single day. Remember, we're not eating nacho chips. Nobody needs to say veggie salsa. Say it with love. Say it with prem. This Bhai Bachittar Singh, his brothers shaheed, his father shaheed, his grandfather shaheed, his sons Sargam and other Gursikhs more and more shaheed. In their entire family, many scholars have added up, there's more than 70 or 80 people directly linked to their family that became shaheed. And we can't sacrifice 2 minutes of our time to say fateh to a Gursikh. We can't sacrifice our own grudges, our own egos, just to say face another Gursikh instead of turning our back. us experience this love. If we search inside, Bhai Bachittar Singh, imagine that very last day. You know that physically you won't be seeing Guru Gobind Singh Ji anymore. Guru Gobind Singh Ji is your entire life. You're living, laying on a bed in the middle of this jungle. And you're saying, Tan Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha. Tan Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sache Pacha. I found my true love. This world is a scary forest. We're all lost in this forest. Let's search inside and find our true pyara as well. Find our Pritam. Find our beloved. Our beloved is with us. Look around you. This is the Swaroop of the Guru Khalsa Panth. I can sit here and I can talk for hours and hours and hours. The stories don't end. If we finish talking about Bhai Bachittar Singh, then we have to talk about their brothers. Bhai Ani Singh Ji, Bhai Anik Singh, Bhai Ajab Singh, Bhai Ajab Singh. The story goes on and on. It doesn't end. It ends up coming to us sitting here today. If you listen and feed your mind with all this other stuff, Instagram, social media, Facebook, that's what's going to be filled inside of you. You're fueling yourself with that. Don't fuel yourself with that. Sun Sakhi man jap pyar. While reading, listening to the Sakhiyan, inside of your heart, you're supposed to be remembering God's name. You're supposed to be saying, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru. Babaniya kahaniya put saput grain. Bhai Mani Singh Ji told the Sakhi of Gursikhs. They gave birth to a Bhai Bachittar Singh. Bhai Bachittar Singh told Sakhiyan, they gave birth to a Bhai Sargam Singh. It continues on. Bhai Taru Singh Ji's mother told Bhai Taru Singh Ji the story of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. Bhai Taru Singh became one of the greatest shaheeds in our panth as well, after listening to the Sakhi of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. You heard this Sakhi, what are you going to do today now? So let's search inside. Pyareo, we spend every single night doing useless things. Entire days we just spend eating. All night we spend sleeping. I'm not holding you. I'm going to say my fateh in about 2 minutes. You can come to this camp. You can say, oh yeah, the food was great and this and that, and the campfire was really cool. The guy with the stringed instrument had cool tunes and stuff like that. And that's it. Is that all you're going to walk away with? Drill it inside of your mind, pyareo. Mithit nihmi nananga gun changyaiyan tat. And nimrata and sweetness. Me bowing down to other Gursikhs. This is my life. These Gursikhs are the Swaroop of Guru Sahib to me. Search inside of this forest of this world. Don't get scared of it. Search inside of it, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. You look towards the trees, you see a scary forest. But what is inside of the trees? Gursikhs don't see trees. Gursikhs don't see leaves. Gursikhs see the figure of Guru Gobind Singh Ji standing in the place of each and every single one of these trees. These trees are the case of the beautiful Bhai Taru Singh Ji. The branches are the great hands of Bhai Bachittar Singh Ji. The grass is the blood spilt of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. The color is red. The color of red means love. Everywhere Gursikhs see red. I want you to sing these 2 lines, pyareo. Banpi havle, ek sathi laddam. I'm in the middle of this jungle, dark, scary jungle. I'm trying to find one friend. That's it. Guess what? I found him. He's blessed me with Guru's naam. Dukh harta, taken away all my pains. Dukh harta har nama. I sacrifice myself for these saints. Balbal jai sant pyare. All my desires have become fulfilled. Nanak Puran Kama. I'm not going to tell you to sing. But if you feel this love for the Guru, if you feel this love for this Gursikhs, pyareo, share your love with each other through this singing. Kirtan is the highest form of bhakti. There's nothing above this. Close your eyes. Forget what time it is. Forget where you are. Forget where you came from. Forget what your name is. That doesn't matter. That's never going to matter. It never did matter. Everything dies inside of fire. Everything dies inside of time. One thing never dies. Bhai Bachittar Singh's love was true then. Bhai Bachittar Singh's love is true today. And it's true through every single one of us sitting here today. Sing with that love, pyareo. Sing your hearts out. When you feel sleepy, you feel free to go to sleep. But if you want to spend this night sitting with me in this middle of this dark jungle finding my beloved, I implore you to come join me. I beg you to come join me. I die for this Sangat. The Sangat is everything. It's the Guru Swaroop. But don't let your irkha and your grudges and your egos and your diplomacy and your politics get in the way of it. Let go of that and see this pyara inside of each and every single heart, pyareo. I apologize if I said anything wrong. If I hurt anybody's hearts, please, please have it in your hearts to forgive me. I'm the dust of your feet. I'm not worthy of anything. I babble on for hours. I don't know if it means anything, but all I know is that I'm just trying to find my Guru. And I beg you, please lead me to that pyara. Take me to my beloved. I don't care what the world says. The world can laugh. Teri bhagt na chodon paven log hassa. People can call me crazy. I beg you, Vaheguru, sing with me. Sing this night away. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.